The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised. Peace be unto you. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad. Welcome to Liberated Sisters. Today we have a phenomenal guest for you. We're talking about Dr. Joe Jackson. Let me give you a little bit of information about him real quickly. Just stand by. This is great. You're going to love it. Dr. Joseph N. Jackson. He is a U.S. Army retired non-commissioned officer, inventor. We're sitting here in Black History Month with an inventor, a live person. I'm looking at him right now. He has invented six U.S. patents, and he's co-founder of the Black Invention Museum that was founded in 1993. This is Liberated Sisters. I'm your host, Sister Charlene Muhammad, and let's welcome Dr. Joe Jackson. Assalamu alaikum. Not to be mistaken for Joseph Jackson of the Jackson 5. You get that a lot?
I got it. I get that quite a lot.
Thank you for being here.
Well, I sincerely appreciate this, Sister Muhammad, and you've been quite cordial, and here I am.
Good. Thank you. His bio is so extensive, so extensive, the wealth of information that he has. I could have read it and would be here probably for the whole show. So I would like for him to talk about how he got into inventions, and also some of his latest, like he invented the modern day remote control, right? So yes. I told him he started a lot of arguments. We're always fighting over the remote and can't find it. But Dr. Jackson, how did you get into inventing, and share with us what you want our viewers to take home? Okay,
well, way back when I was very young, I was very inquisitive, and we had I'm from the New Orleans area, and we had a big radio that stood up, maybe about 4 or 5 feet, and I used to lie in front of this around about 4, 5, 6 years old. And I always wondered, where was those little people at that was making that noise inside of the radio? Okay. So one day my parents weren't at home, and I went in and tore the front grill out of the thing and looking for little people. And then I saw this big round thing, and it was making noise, and I got goofing around with that and got a hold in it, which we know is a speaker. And it started sounding funny, and I tried to put that back together. But when my dad came home, he gave me the spanking of my life, and he says, there aren't any little people inside there, Joe. He says, this is some type of a system that here over sits a transmitter, okay?
Yeah.
That sends radio waves, and your radio being a receiver that takes that information and turn it into intelligence of which we can hear.
Yeah.
Well, to me, at that age, I just couldn't fathom that, okay?
Wow.
So, but it stayed a curiosity to me. And then when I joined the Army, I got in the Army. After I was in about 3 or 4 years, I got a GED, and that made me eligible to go to TV school. Mm-hmm. Way back in the 60s when we had tubes, okay?
TV school.
Yeah.
TV school.
So I went to TV school at Fort Bragg in North Carolina.
Right.
And part-time, I worked with a guy for about 4 months after working, doing the service during the day in the military, and then coming home to my family in the evening and helping this guy for about 4 months. And then I opened my own shop, and I had a TV shop in Fayetteville, North Carolina for about 8 years. I soldiered during the day and repaired TVs at nights and weekends and so forth.
Wow.
That's why I got a vast amount of experience, okay, in the electronic area, okay. And after about 12 years in the service, I got out, and I was out for about 30 months running my own business. And so I wound up deciding, well, I'll go back in the Army for 8 more years, and then I could retire. See, so I sold the shop and so forth, and went back in the Army and did my 8 years and to retire. But just prior to my retirement, I got stationed here in Los Angeles as an Army recruiting sergeant, okay? And I used to run the recruiting office at Manchester, Vermont, all right?
Okay.
And one Saturday, I was at home, and about 2 weeks before, they started advertising that they were going to have this boxing match on Channel 7 Wide World of Sports at 3 p.m. Well, I happened to be watching another channel, say Channel 4, and dozed off. And when I woke up and realized it was already 3:30, so I rushed to turn the TV to Channel 7, and boom, they was talking about how the guy got knocked out.
Wow.
Well, see, back then we didn't have a instant replay or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I said, well, there's got to be a way to some kind of, I could fashion out some kind of thing that'll alert me to change the channel at the appropriate time, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, Eddie, all you need to do is set the clock, and when the clock goes off, get up and change the channel. I said, no, it's got to be a better way than that. It's something that should be akin or built into the TV.
Right.
Okay, and so I left it alone, and it wasn't more than about 5 or 6 hours. Dong, it hit me, okay? What's in a TV guide? The day the program come on, the time it comes on, and the channel it comes on, okay? So I needed now to fashion some electronic way where I could put this information in and store it in memory along with a digital clock. And at the proper time, it would automatically turn the TV on and turn the channel. And there I would not miss any programs because I could pre-program.
Right.
And this is where the programmable remote came from.
Wow.
And if you remember the old VCR, or you remember right now you have the DVR timer that allows you to set it to record if you're not on.
Yes, I do.
That's my original technology.
Oh,
okay?
my God.
All because I missed the program that I wanted to see. And then having that electronic background, I knew if I could come up with certain components to come up with the desired end results that I was seeking. And that's where my first patent came from. And then subsequently, I got into some other areas and worked on. I'm now in the fertility predicting area.
Now, I want to talk about the transition to that, but look at that. So we enjoy it right now. Like I thoroughly enjoy your invention, and who knew? See, these are the things that we're not taught. Right? And his information is very prominent on the web. You know, you Google him. I was sitting with him. We met because I was actually on final call assignment, and I was plucking away at a coffee shop, and Dr. Jackson and his engineer were there and working, and it was a very interesting day. We were there for hours just working on our individual projects, but you know, just the whole dynamics of what happens in coffee shops when you're working was beautiful. And that's when I met him. And one of the things that he showed me was this prototype, this online prototype of a little compact case. And it looks like it could be a makeup case or anything, you know, like mints or something, but it helps with fertility. I think this is something that is so beautiful for women and girls, but I will let him talk more about that. But I just appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much.
Meeting the person that helps me get my programs, you know, when I want them.
Yes.
Good times.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Martin, nah, joke. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, the fertility predictor came about because once I had about 4 patents on various things, I got to thinking, you know, my mom had 8 kids.
Oh.
And the old wives' tale back then was that as long as she was breastfeeding, she didn't get pregnant. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But we're all like 2 years apart, okay?
Yeah.
However, the white woman that she worked for back in the 30s and 40s only had 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I did some study on that and found that because she had money, she could go to the OBGYN and she told him, I have 2 children, I don't want any more. So he just took the calendar and asked her these 3 questions. When did your period come last? Okay, he marked that on the calendar. How long does it last when it comes? 1 through 8 days. She said 5 days. And what is your cycle? She says every 28 days. Okay. I said, well, let me see if I can fashion a device where I can allow the end user to put this information into the computer and bring a calendar up so I can show her ovulation day, her period date, and her safe days, okay? So that's the original fertility predictor came from for women of childbearing age. So she puts in, I didn't stop it at every 28 days because some women are religiously cycle every 26 or 27, most every 28, 29, and 30. So I fashioned it to have that wide variety, of women. And doing my studies, I found that by doing it that way, we could probably handle about 85% of the females of the world, okay, which is, well, females are 53% of the world's population. Only China and India have more, okay? So that's where the fertility predictor came from. Now, once I got the fertility predictor design, I was talking with someone and they said, well, you know what are you going to do about the little young girl? So I came up with a cycle indicator, which is for little pubescent girls, which is like from 9 through 16, okay? And I happened to get an invitation to Los Angeles Unified School District via Dr. Theodore Alexander, who was the associate superintendent at the time. And he allowed me to come in and show this video that I had made of the system. And this was dealing primarily with the little girls. She puts her period information in, when it came, how long it lasts, and what is the cycle. And now we're not trying to predict ovulation for 11 or 12-year-old fifth grader, but we want to know every month ahead of time when her cycle is period's coming. So now with this device, she's able to look forward, okay? Now, coupled with that, we've designed a comprehensive program with graphics, everything that she needs to know at the onset of puberty. I happened to get hold of an essay that was done by Dr. Jocelyn Elders. Yes. Dr. Elders, obviously, everybody knows, was appointed as our first black surgeon general by Bill Clinton, okay? And I was able to bring her out here about 2 years ago, so she's joined in with us. And that essay covers everything that's relevant to dealing with the problem of teen pregnancy. We have 1.1 million unintended teen pregnancies in the country, okay? Now, in designing this system with Los Angeles Unified, when I finally got it completed, they purchased 400 of them from me and are presently utilizing them as a teaching tool for growth and development for 5th and 6th grades, okay? And they've given me the letter of endorsement. So now we're fashioning this to be in the cloud and sending it to other schools around the country as a teaching tool. It has the graphics, video, everything comprehensively that a young girl needs to know to take care of herself.
I'm sorry, I got to go back. You said 1.1 million
unintended teen pregnancies in this country per year. Wow. And this is in Dr. Elder's essay, okay? And I'll get a copy of that to you, okay?
Okay,
so
and I think I should have something. And this is what prompted you to start working on the patent.
Well, no, I had the patent already, and then I later found out about her, and come to find out via the law of attraction, okay? we happened to come together. So once I talked to her about what I had, and we thought it was a natural marriage, and so she came out to visit and see me. She spent a meet and greet 2 years ago and spent some time with us and got some video and so forth. So now she's an advisor and whatever, and hopefully she's getting on up there now. She's about 84, 85. But she's right in there with me. Yeah. Diane Watson is on my board of directors and so forth. So we have some serious help, in doing what we're doing. And we're just about ready to launch. In fact, I have to think within the next 90 days, we should be up in the air
Wow.
putting the same thing around the country as what we have in Los Angeles Unified School District, which is the second largest school district in the country. Okay.
This is so beautiful because of the fact that a lot of people don't want that. There are young couples that do not want, they're just starting out, they're just married, they're not ready to plan their family right, and they don't want to take foreign substances like birth control pills.
Yes. Okay. With Fem Choices, this is what we call it.
It's called Fem Choice.
FEM-CHOICE. We're giving a female a choice. Okay. Now, what happens here? There it is. Okay.
Yeah. Great.
What happens here is now all of the alternative contraceptive systems that are presently being utilized out there by women of childbearing age always carry some sort of side effects. Okay, so with this system in apps in Android and apps in the iPhone, and this little handheld model that's solar and battery operated that she can carry in her purse, will always be able to let her know when ovulation is going to occur. And as I mentioned before, 85% of the women can use this. 15% of the women, 2 periods a month, period every other month, that we can't quantify, they're not our customers or can't do anything for them. But the other 85%, then our product is marketable to them as an alternative to IUDs, diaphragms, birth control pills, implants, shots, anything that alters her metabolism and so forth. So we get rid of that. Okay. So from a holistic standpoint, there's no change in her body. She simply looks at that. Okay.
Yeah.
At the system, and it'll tell her instantly when her fertility is there. And then for the young girl, pubescent girl, we have instructions with our system for them as a teaching tool for growth and development that they can take care of themselves and not have accidents and so forth, based on them being educated about their system. Okay.
Wow. And let me just say, as you continue, I want to talk to you about how the news of your invention is being received. How are people accepting it? Berkeley Journal of Gender Law and Justice. This is Volume 5, Issue 1, and September 2013, Dr. Joycelyn Elders, Adolescent Pregnancy, Does the Nation Really Care? And so, she starts out talking about a nation that allows social ills to destroy its most precious resource. Its children will not survive and must be jolted into action. The report goes, adolescent pregnancy strikes the most vulnerable and helpless members of our society, the poor, the undereducated, and the non-white. It eliminates any glimmer of hope for their future. No problem faced by teenage girls today is more threatening to them or to future generations. And again, each year, over 1.1 million, or 1 in 10, American teenagers become pregnant, and about 10,000 babies are born to girls under the age of 15. This was in 2013. This was given this stat. In Arkansas, 1 in 4 black females giving birth is between 13 and 19 years of age and is probably unmarried. Early childbearing severely affects the education, employment, and income prospects of these teenage mothers. So Dr. Joycelyn Elders is on board.
Oh yeah, she's
with
on
Fem
board
Choice.
with us. She has this essay, and then I have the tool to get her information coupled with mine around the globe. Okay, so we're not just looking at our domestic problems. We're looking at this from an international perspective, and we're hoping to get the little handheld model into the foreign aid program. Our government gives foreign aid to hundreds of countries, and one of the components in that foreign aid is a population. Well, I won't say population control, but family planning. Okay, let's look at it that way. Okay, and so with
this, the right thing.
With this, you see, the little lady in Uganda or somewhere in South and Central America can use this because it's a universal system. It's very simple. She puts in three things: when her period came, how long it lasts, and what is her cycle. And it takes over from there, and she can look at that calendar, and it's described by colors. For instance, when her period's on, it's the colors on the calendar will be purple, and then there's 2 days that are red. And the first day is ovulation. The second day is because male sperm live 48 hours, okay? And just before those 2 red days is yellow, yellow, yellow. We call those yellow days increased chance of pregnancy. We call those red days maximum chance of pregnancy. And then we have 2 more yellow days. So that whole week, yellow, 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 red, red, yellow, yellow.
Wow.
And then up 2 weeks up is when your period's on, okay? Now, sometimes stress will cause that period to come a day early, a day late. And this is why we have the precautionary yellow, because it may cause your ovulation shift one day or the other. But if you're abstaining or using a barrier, yellow, 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 red, red, no matter how it shifts 1 day, 2 days, you're absolutely safe. Now, the alternative, if you are trying to get pregnant, then obviously those 2 red days is the time that you would try. Also, an added bonus for this, let's say once she puts her information in, let's say a woman wants to get married 3 or 4 months from now. Well, once she has the information in, she could hit a button. Every time she hits it, it'll go a month ahead and look forward for her. So if she wants to get married and be certain that she can consummate her marriage on her wedding night, this will allow her to do that. And our studies indicate that 1 in 3 women who plan their wedding 3 months out plan for the cake, the ring, the limousine, everything.
Yeah.
But will my cycle be on during my wedding day? Okay,
Right.
so this allowed now.
That's real.
Yeah. Well, hey, I have to tell it the way it is.
What a great
It's true.
service.
So it has that and many other features for today's fast-paced woman who could simply look at this in seconds and know about her fertility cycle for that particular month, okay?
I understand.
And she can look ahead and whatever she wants to do. It's a very simple device, and it's ergonomically easy to use just by putting in those 3 things. When it came, how long it lasts, and with the cycle, and forget it, and that's it.
And that's it. Wow. Now, focus groups, because I've never done a pattern, right?
Okay.
But so how did you test this? Like you had focus groups and the reception of it, and how was all that process?
Well, doing my design of this, I worked with a foremost OBGYN specialist. His name was Dr. William Haling. Now, you might know of Dr. William Haling as the founding president of 100 Black Men. But Dr. Haling worked with the Martin Luther King Drew Medical Center as the chief of OBGYN for many years. And we became friends, and he was helped me to quantify my concept and so forth, and work with me and I did some study through New England Journal of Medicine and Mass General about the female anatomy, okay? So once we got the design and everything done, we used Los Angeles Unified School District as our beta site. And for 4 years, I went through that wordsmithing and just about everything before they finally decided to take it on. We had the Los Angeles, the PTA come in, and as you mentioned focus groups, they asked me many questions. We had the Film Advisory Board from Hollywood come in, and they're the ones that put the R's and X's on the movies and so forth. But since this was a family-oriented concept, they gave me the Award of Excellence for this particular system, and so we have this little emblem on our product. And then the president at that time, Elaine Blythe, she wrote a statement about this, and as a statement of encouragement and so forth. So we'll have that statement for you also about the system as it relates to teen girls. Yeah.
Yes, very good. This is very good. I think a very noble thing, and just out of necessity breeds invention, right?
Yes. So back to my mom again. She had 8 of us, and if she had known, I'm glad I'm here.
That's right.
But I'm saying, it was a struggle.
Yeah.
And if you want to deal with family planning, it's your choice, okay? And that's what I'm giving you. I don't get into any political anything.
That's right.
Here's a device here that you can utilize. It's very inexpensive as it relates to birth control pills.
Mm-hmm.
It probably costs just a few bucks over what 1 month of birth control pills will pay, and it'll last you 10 years. Birth control pills are $39 to $49 a month, and that's about $500-600 a year. See,
Yeah.
so just a one-time thing and lasts you that. So from a price perspective and from a wellness perspective,
That's right.
This fits.
Yeah.
The fast-paced woman today, because she could just simply glance at it.
Yeah.
It's not a TV. You don't look at it. You just once you program it, take about 2-3 minutes to program it, and then once it takes over. And then from that point on, every time you open it up and hit one button, there's your information. In 10 seconds, it's going to go away because you don't stare at it like a TV. We want to maintain the battery.
High level technology
but
right
it's
down to
very
the modern
simple,
times.
Yeah. And so you don't need that. And with that, you leave your body alone and it function normally, okay? And that's what we're about.
And that's right, and that's what we're about. Holistic, natural. What can help our sisters out here? And then you talked about the teen pregnancy factor, and that's really huge because we have a lot in common. Like I'm from Opelousas, you're from New Orleans,
I didn't know
and
that.
I'm the 8th of 8.
You know.
Yeah, 2 years apart, except I think maybe like the first and second set may have had 3 years, but it's really interesting.
Yes.
The backgrounds that we have. But would you like to add anything before we go? And definitely must have you back. We'll have you back here in Liberated Sisters.
Well, I like to mention, that we have a lot of groups that represent us, okay, from the NAACP to Operation Push or whatever. Would you believe over the years, I've tested all of these organizations, and the hardest thing I find, since we do not have a financial infrastructure in our community to support people like myself, you kind of go through these organizations because they're always out there saying what they want to do and how we should come together and support this kind of thing. But believe it or not, it's so hard to even get by the gatekeepers to get to the principal.
Oh yeah,
and that is the one thing we don't deal with. We talk about it and we hear that, and then when we actually go to see and to show them, first off, they don't understand what you're talking about, and will not let you get to the principal so you can explain it, and maybe the principal, because he can see the big picture and be involved. So you can't get past, and that is so prevalent. And believe me, you're looking at somebody who has tried all of that. See, and so. I just have to do it slowly, based on my military retirement to get here. Okay, so now we're here finally, and we're about ready to put this up. I have some prominent people that have volunteered time and energy to helping me to put this together. I have a Dr. Gwen Parker. She's a retired ED. I have an evangelist, Bess Goodman. I have an attorney by the name of Peter Paul Mendel, and various other people that's involved with our program. Okay, and as you met, one of my engineers, Daryl Blaylock. Okay?
Yes. Greetings, Brother Blaylock. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing this. And I do understand totally about gatekeepers having to interact or try to bust through, maneuver around. It's that just on my little level as a journalist, but let today be a breakthrough.
Oh yeah. We're moving on. It just happened that you have to go through these kind of things. Yeah. And it just Jesse Jackson was out here about 5-6 years ago, and I got to meet Jesse for a second time and talk to him about this. He was elated. Turned me over to, before they closed their office here in Los Angeles, turned me over to his handlers here. And before Jesse could get on the plane going back to Illinois, this guy had his hand out and said, I don't do anything for, and I went, he just, so what Jesse said and what that gatekeeper said was two different things.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get on the same page with him, okay? And he didn't want to hear anything about, put this up first and then we'll see what I can do, and I didn't. So
Unfortunate.
Yeah. So we have that. Okay, people get involved here, but they always have a ulterior motive, and that's bad. Because I'm willing to work with anybody and share with anybody who wants to be involved. Okay, but you have to bring something to the table, and if you bring it to the table, I don't have any problem. I can't eat this whole elephant by myself. And our products are going around the world, so we don't have any problem with that.
Yeah, you bring to mind something that my teacher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, teaches us, do no favor seeking gain. Brother Reverend Jesse Jackson said, okay, first of all, as an instruction, the person should be like, okay, but we know sometimes from the head to the rank and file, it just goes a haywire. But look, I'm so happy to know you and have this, and I think, when I heard about it, I'm not planning to have any more children.
Yes.
But I think I plan and Allah plans, right? And He's the best of planners.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm talking about I'm in a marriage by myself. Hey, Ali. But this is really good.
Yes.
And I shared this with some young women and men that I know, and they were like, wow.
Yes.
This is great. So I thank you for that. And would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I'd like to say this. The patent office called me an inventor, and most of the people, when they hear about me, because they call me an inventor, I see myself as a channel. Okay, when the Lord wants something physically manifested just look around your house and see all the things that's in your house and whatever. When He wants something physically manifested on earth, He gives it to certain people, okay? And then He gives them the wherewithal to bring it to manifestation. So I don't see this inventor stuff because it's not me. It's Him that gives that as a channel. He gives me this, and then the wherewithal to bring it to manifestation. So I don't want to go around boasting that me. It's not about me. It's about our Father, okay? So that's why I wanted to make certain that people see that I'm try not to be boastful because God has used me for this phenomenon. Okay.
Thank you so much. What a beautiful lesson in humility. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're so great. Oh, my God. Okay. And now here's a Liberated Sisters special coverage of past Savior's Days, as we are now the Nation of Islam in our annual Savior's Day convention. I'll be back in a few weeks, but enjoy. Happy Savior's Day.
Come on, brother. They bring the big, strong black men to college. They don't care whether you get an education. You just a big piece of meat that is running a football, dunking a basketball, wrestling, running track, fighter. That's how white folk love to see their niggas. They can smile when you knock them down. I'll bet on so-and-so. They love it when you dunk, fly through the air. They like that. Or when you throw that hip and make that move and go through the line and get 6 points, they love it. They say, now ain't he all right? Come on. Oh, they love it when you get your guitar and say, ain't nobody loves me. They love it. Shout your blues, play your horn, dance, sing. That's what they like. Yes, but don't be a thinker. Yes, Don't challenge them in theology. Yes, don't challenge their political thinking. Come on. Don't challenge them in education. Yes, don't challenge them in science. Yes, for that breaks the mold that they are not used to. Right. They want to package you and put you in a mold that they can deal with you and look down upon you. Don't break the mold. They bring our black men to college. And when you go on the college campuses, the black athletes are told not to get involved in any social action of the black students. They give them an apartment, a little stipend, and when you look around, here they come. with a white woman on their arms, happy as a lark. They have no time for the black woman anymore. They're in heaven now. Sisters, when you go to work downtown, I know how they make you feel. They'll open the door for you, won't they? How are you, Miss Jones? Give you that big smile, then tell you that dirty joke. And when you laugh, all of a sudden they squeeze you with a hand it shouldn't be. And then you find yourself going to bed with the children of your slave master. And you say, white folk is all right. I got a white boyfriend, he just loves me to death. And that's about the size of it, baby. But if you look at your white lover that you're sleeping with, ask the white man, does he love your father? Does he love your brother? Does he love your uncle and your cousin? He hates the very shadow of your father. How in the hell could he love you? Just bear with me, brothers and sisters. The Pharaoh of yesterday said, let us kill all the males and spare the females. The Pharaoh of old used a crude methodology. He deemed it wise in his day to outright kill the male. But today the earth is a global village. And what is done with the whole world watching. So great skill and wisdom has to be employed by the modern Pharaoh to get the target group to participate in its own destruction. This is what is meant by the words, come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And should a war occur, they join on to our enemies. What does this mean? It tells us that there is a deliberate plan to stop us first from multiplying.
Yes, sir. That's right. That's right.
Into the birth control pill.
All right.
Now, most of you women, sorry about that, sisters, I've got to talk to you. You don't know the chemists who make the pill. You just use it because it's effective.
Come on.
But you don't know the side effects.
Come on now, brother.
Because your chemists are not there. So you're taking a pill. But the enemy is injecting the meat with hormones.
Right.
Pump it up, they say.
Right.
Fatten it up so we can take it to market. So while you are on the pill, you're feeding burgers with all of these hormones in it to your children, since you really don't have time to cook a decent meal. You let somebody cook it in a kitchen you know nothing about. Put chemicals in it that you know nothing about. You say, yeah, well, a lot of white folk is getting it. Don't you know they're glad to get rid of some of theirs to get all of you? I gotta talk to you tonight, Washington. And don't you get angry with me. You stop a moment and start thinking about what I'm saying.
Come on.
Now you got an 8-year-old daughter, she got breasts. You were 14 and 15 and 16 before you saw a breast on yourself, that is. But now at 8 years old, you flowery. and 9 years old daughter got a menses. She got a doll in one hand and a pad in the other hand, crying because she don't know what is going on in her life.
Yes, sir.
And neither do you know.
Yes, sir.
Now your daughter is growing sexually at 8 and 9, but there's no mother around.
Yes, sir.
To parent the child, no father around.
Yes,
Mother gone,
yes,
father gone. The motherless child sees a hard time.
Yes, sir. Come on.
So at 10 years old, your daughter is pregnant.
Yes.
11 years old, she don't know nothing about birth control. So the babies are now having babies.
Yes, come on.
This
brother.
is the society that we live in. They want us to stop the killing. Isn't that something?
Yes, sir.
Stop killing, they say. Isn't it awful? 360 some odd murders already. Isn't that terrible? Stop it on this end. But how many murders have been committed in the sterile offices of these abortion clinics? If you want to stop the killing on one side, you ought to stop the killing of innocent life that is coming into the world. Stop the killing.
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is not the theme you wanted, is it? Here's a government that legalizes abortion.
Yes, sir.
Legalizes killing the fruit of the womb.
Yes, sir.
But if you kill it after it gets here, you gotta do life, but there's no penalty for killing it before it gets here.
Oh! Fix it up, bro. Fix it up.
This is a crazy society.
Yes, it is.
They tell your children to respect the parents. Then they tell your children they can have an abortion and they don't have to tell the parent.
Yes, sir.
You're sick as hell. And you need a doctor, and the doctor is not your political leaders.
Yes, sir. That's right, bro. That's right. That's right.
That's right.
So the plan is decrease your numbers and make you participate in the destruction of yourself. Second, there's a plan to keep us from uniting among ourselves.
That's right, bro.
Never let black people come together.
All right now.
Never let it happen.
Yes, sir.
Keep the Catholics, the Baptists, the Muslims, the Jehovah's Witness, keep us all divided by religion.
Yes, sir.
Then divide us by region. Say this is a northern one, that's a southern one, this is an eastern one, that's a western one. This one is from the Caribbean, this one's from Africa. Keep them all upset and divided.
Yes, sir.
This one's a Kappa, this one's an Alpha, this one's a Delta, this one's an AKA. Keep them all divided. Not only must you keep them divided and hating each other, you must keep them from ever becoming international in their view. Because then, if they become international, they will connect with people that America considers her enemies. And also they must keep us from uniting with our own kith and kin in Africa, the Caribbean, Central and South America, and the islands of the Pacific. Keep them all divided. This plan has to be carried out on many fronts to decrease our numbers, birth control, create economic hardship and family instability.
Yes, sir. There it is.
Teach the people they're unable to care for their children. How can you have a baby? You can't have another one. You don't have the means, honey. keep them so confused that they will willingly allow doctors to sterilize them. Give them a birth control death plan. Give them things, chemicals, to rinse out their private parts with that they have not the knowledge of, that will weaken the walls of the uterus, so when they really want to have a baby, the walls of the uterus are too weak to hold a baby. Kill the fruit of the womb. To keep us from unifying the government of the United States under J. Edgar Hoover, designed a counterintelligence program.
Tell it now. Tell it.
Designed to destroy any black group or any black leader.
Tell it, brother.
Who had the power to unite black people.
That's right. Tell it, brother.
In this audience tonight, there are men and women of every political and religious persuasion. And there are men and women from every region of the world. Farrakhan then is a dangerous black man.
Hello.
Come on, brother. But boy, let me tell you something. I laugh at your silly plans. I want to talk to you tonight.
Talk to it. Come on. Talk to it. Talk to it, brother.
Look, brothers and sisters. Hoover designed a plan to destroy any black leader who could unify the masses of our people.
Yes, sir.
And to do everything in their power to keep that black leader, once identified, from reaching black youth.
Come on, yes, come on. Uh-oh.
Dig it out. Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
They want no black leader that they identify that can unite black people to ever connect with black youth.
Yes, sir. Listen. Yes, sir.
I want you to listen now. Third, they must keep black people from unity with other oppressed people.
Listen to
They don't want any unity between the black and the Hispanic people.
That's right.
And if they see us coming together, they'll break it up.
That's right.
They want no unity with the black and the red, the Native American. They don't even want to see any thought of any coalition between black groups and poor whites.
Yes, sir.
They are threatened by any leader, any movement
That's right.
that can bring us together. Lastly, black people must be kept from any philosophy or ideology that will link them with other people of the world. Let us deal wisely with them.
Yes, sir. All right.
Y'all all right? Yes, sir. Now look, brothers and sisters, how many of you remember Paul Robeson?
All right now.
Paul Robeson was a brilliant scholar, artist, human being. He was more loved in Russia and in Europe than in America.
That's right.
He connected with a socialist philosophy. That made that man dangerous according to the plan of the government of the United States. The moment you connect with a philosophy that they consider alien, then they must come against you. If you're socialist, if you're communist, and you tie in to what they call international socialism and communism, you're a threat and you're going to be dealt with. You have to understand that. So in the 40s, they began dealing on all socialists, particularly among the black artists. Communism attracted black intellectuals and artists in the 40s and 50s. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Are you all right? Look at Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey came with a philosophy that was dangerous to the government.
That's right.
Marcus Garvey said, Africa for the Africans at home and abroad. That's too dangerous. Because white folk want Africa.
Yes, sir. That's right.
They want the riches of Africa.
That's right.
They do not want black people all over the world to say Africa is the root of us and cling to Africa and move out the interlopers and squatters who have sucked the blood of Africa. They don't want to see that happen. E.B. Du Bois, Padmore, Nkrumah, Pan-Africanist ideology, dangerous. Because as a black person, if you think of the black people in the Caribbean, in Africa, in Central America, South America, in the Isles of the Pacific, as your family, you are thinking dangerously.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, brothers and sisters, if you ever begin to think of Islam, now you're really dangerous.
Right.
When you become a Christian, you don't link up with Christians throughout the world because they don't teach that. You're a Christian. Father Stallings, a Catholic, is a world Catholic church. But you can go to your Catholic brethren in other parts of the world, you don't feel that kinship, that brotherly love, it ain't there. They don't teach you that kind of Christianity that makes all Christians the body of one Christ.
That's right.
When you become a Muslim, you get a sense of belonging to a brotherhood that is international, universal, that makes Islam the most dangerous force in the world, and they want no black people to accept Islam. Are you listening? Bear with me, this is not anti-Christian. I'm only making a statement of fact based upon that scripture. They gotta keep you divided.
Yes, sir.
All right, now listen. Brothers and sisters, if you look, they begin to get us to participate in very harmless looking programs that are meant for our destruction. Polio vaccinations, measles vaccinations. They tell you there's an epidemic and we have some shots for you. I sat down with 45 doctors and I said, doctor, when you inject your patient with a vaccine, do you know what is in that bottle? They said no. Dick Gregory, who's not a comedian, he's a very brilliant brother of ours. Dick Gregory told us that in 1961, there was a polio outbreak. You remember? And black folk rushed to get the polio vaccination. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us, take all the others, leave the polio one alone. We didn't know why, we just obeyed him. Dick Gregory found out that they vaccinated millions of Americans with SV40, which was supposed to be a polio vaccination, but it was a polio contaminant that was cancer itself. Before the 60s, cancer was a white folk disease. Now cancer is eating the black community up.
Right.
You think, brothers and sisters, that these people who smile at you, that you call doctor this and doctor the other, You think they're not experimenting? How many of you heard of the Tuskegee experiment? Where they injected 100 black men with the most virulent form of syphilis and made them think they were getting something else and would never treat them and let them go out and have sex, spreading syphilis in our community. How many of you remember Mr. Amherst, the one that the college is named after, I think? This man was one of those who sent smallpox in blankets to the Indians. So the Indians were trying to keep warm and they were dying. Now it's AIDS. Come, let us deal wisely with them. Get their own nature to help them participate in their own destruction. God has given us organs of sex for us to find pleasure and procreation. But when you deprive a human being of expressing his creativity for legitimate avenues of real pleasure, then he or she must find pleasure in the organs of sex. So we have an inordinate, sexually depraved society. We don't write the sex magazines.
That's right.
We don't make the films that are rated 3X, 4X, 5X. They are subliminally feeding the American public, making you sick sexually. So that now you're like dogs in heat. Then they undress the woman, making her a tempting treat. Then she walks like a dog. Or high heel shoes just hopping along, standing in your little pose, letting the man get a good glimpse of your hips, knowing that when he takes that picture and develops it in his mind, he's through. He's coming after you. Savage. But you are being manipulated by a skillful enemy. You're not in control, but they make you think you're in control. Who's in control? Who makes the movies? Who writes the songs? Who influences your talents and makes you use your talent in a destructive way? Who's putting this degenerate food in the black community? The poorest of food with death-dealing chemicals. So they're killing us through our diet, killing us through our water, killing us by closing down hospitals that serve our community, forcing us to go into their hospitals where we are experimenting on, killing us in the prisons. Let us deal wisely with them. This is all part of the program of the government, brothers and sisters. And I'm suggesting to you, President Nixon said, Islam is the #1 enemy of democracy in America. Not communism, but fundamentalist Islam.
Yes, sir.
So all those of you who say Allahu Akbar, the enemy says they don't want you to teach the Quran to anyone. And those who are waking up in Christianity, you are dangerous. Father Stallings moved out, I told Brother Stallings, I defended you to several Catholic priests and the bishop. I said, here's a brother who believes in Catholicism, but he recognizes there's a cultural void in the black community, and he desires to fill that void by adopting African cultural trappings and incorporating it into the faith of Catholicism. And they condemned him. I said, but you are hypocrites. You have made Christ, the angels, everybody white. And you want us to be baptized in a white supremacy religion. And if a black man says he wants to put black African culture in it, you tell him he's a heretic. I called them demons. I said, with your weak demon translation and exegesis of the scripture. Yes, I did. You want to tell me I'm black because I'm one of the children of Ham.
Come on, brother. Go ahead.
You want me to believe that I'm black because I'm cursed. I said, don't you link me to Ham.
Yes, sir. Come on now, brother.
I didn't come from Ham.
Come on now.
Before Ham was, I am. Before Noah was, I am. Before Abraham was, I am. Before Adam was, I am.
That's our show for today. Thank you so much, Dr. Jackson, for blessing us here. He will be back. He will be back. He will be back. There's so much more that we have to talk about, but I wanted to present him here on Liberated Sisters to you all, and I pray that you enjoy and go to his website and check out everything. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad. Thank you so much, Sister Felicia, the Poetess Morris. If it's impacting our community or can uplift us as a people, let's talk about it. Peace.